I remembered.
Yay.
Well, it is 7 o'clock. Oops. Heidi is here now. So I will call this meeting of the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic
For which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, opening up with public comment.
Gary, real quick, can you just let me in again? I had signed in on another device.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of people here.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. I usually do auto admit, but I forgot that for some reason this time. All right, we are looking for public comment. If anyone has a comment, please indicate by doing something. Seeing no public comment, we can, oops, there's one more person. Seeing no public comment, we can move on to the reports. John couldn't be here tonight, so I'll give the superintendent report. The Burlington Ave drainage project should start next week. They have all the equipment here and the drainage structures, so that'll be a relief. And the sign for the Zim Smith Trail in the wooded path between Peck Ave and Griffin's Ridge is up, and the trail to the Zim Smith is clear, so that there's an alternative route if somebody wanders down that not knowing the path, so they can turn right and have unimpeded access to the Zim Smith Trail rather than forging ahead and using the Griffin's Ridge Trail. So,
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
there's been talk about a bridge over the drainage ditch, which is pretty rocky and difficult to walk over, especially for anyone who is disabled. Are there concrete plans to move ahead with that?
I have looked at it, priced it. I was hoping we could get that bridge from the Airbnb, but that they had on Route 9, but that didn't work. So that is something we can certainly look at, something I have thought about. In fact, Clifton Park had a bridge made by environmental science and forestry students in Syracuse. They paid for the materials and but they did all the construction. Then they went and picked it up. So that's something I will take a look at too, since my daughter graduated from there.
Thank you.
So, Treasurer Jessica Mack.
Okay, so as usual, I emailed everybody the monthly financial reports. I don't need any resolutions this month, just plugging in numbers and getting ready to switch over to the new budget soon. And that's all from me.
That's good. Chief.
Still busy. I think I say that every month. I'm going to say it's been quiet, but it hasn't been quiet. 42 calls last month. We're still running, slightly ahead of last year. This month has been really busy over the last couple of days. This weekend we have the Malta has a parade, so if any of you are traveling through the center of town Saturday morning, the roads will be closed because of the Malta Day parade. So we'll be in that, or another parade on Memorial Day up in Saratoga. And then other than that, just going through our regular stuff, and we'll discuss the truck and under new business.
Sure.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. Code enforcement.
Well, I've been working with the HOAs for both Victoria Landing and Griffin's Ridge on some outstanding issues. Also, the planning board is making a recommendation on the road, really for New York Avenue, for access to the proposed development at the end of New York Avenue. I'll be sending a copy of that to all the board members. We're proposing a road which is totaling 38 feet wide, which includes the sidewalks and drainage. and a bike trail, or a bike path on it. So I don't know if the developer is going to come to the board and ask, make a proposal to the village board on what he intends to do with the road. The planning board reviewed it and made a recommendation that he go before the village board. And because currently it's a 17-foot road, it's not adequate for the development. He's going to have to take some front lawns along New York Avenue, and we think the village board would be much more better equipped to take people's front lawns if you're going to do that than the planning board. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clayton is at the ball field monitoring parking down there, so he will not be with us tonight. And Sharon.
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the most recent and work my way back just a little bit. This evening, I picked up the new 2022 Round Lake brochure, which I stopped and put into the village office outside there. So I'm hoping that everyone in the next few days and over the weekend will have a new brochure. We talked about possible distribution also in the village with using some of our younger volunteers to bike over to up to Victorian landings and down to the ridge here. And we're hoping that everyone will be joining us this season in the auditorium. And last night we had a volunteer meeting, thanks to AP3 who organized it. And we had probably about 15 people show up, and we went over our season and our needs, which was very good. Also, we have that arrived today, some beautiful new trash cans for the auditorium. And the cleaning, we're ready for the cleaners who will be coming this weekend. Everything is pretty picked up over there. We've done a good job like cleaning out, and thanks to the people from the Old Liberty Church that filled that dumpster in no time, and that's gone. So we're good, and we're now really considered going into season because our first event will be very soon next week. The organ gets tuned. The cleaners are here this week. And so then we will be immediately on a roll into our concert season. And we're working on parking, we're working on volunteers, we're working on so many things. I'm sure I know we're going to get to the event coordinator in this meeting, but everything we're building a wonderful, wonderful team. And I hope that I can only thank everybody who has participated in making all these things happen as we go forward. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Excuse me. AP3.
Hello. I don't have a ton of things to report, and I just got home. So what Sharon said about the volunteers, I sent Molly, who looks like she's going to be our new event person, all our volunteer information. And it's exciting to have her taking this on because this is just a priority we identified for this year. And I'm glad she's going to take it from here. We have a couple of ongoing projects that we talked about at our meeting, including really figuring out how to scan documents and preserve them better, get them organized in a searchable database. So I believe we're going to be purchasing a external hard drive or something. I'm not the tech person, to make that more efficient process, and hopefully to set up a sort of I don't want to say assembly line, but I'll say assembly line, so we can really process some of these things that have been kind of difficult to organize. Other projects we've been talking about is how to get our walking tour up and running. A lot of these things are intermixed, so we need the digital documents and photos to figure out how to incorporate them into the walking tour, which we hope to have through our website, so it's a lot of chicken and egg things. We welcomed a new member, Jeff Gannon, and we still have one seat available if you or anyone you know might be interested in joining AP3. Let's see, the last thing I guess is probably Sharon is going to meet with this fellow Barry, who comes up when Tom Dressler is performing. He's lives in New York City. He's a talented organist, but even more talented. I don't think he actually manufactures organs, but he repairs them. He knows a lot about it. He's very enthusiastic about creating a program that will utilize the organ in the auditorium. I'm not sure how realistic his goals are, or how much we want to encourage that, but he's very excited. We've tentatively set up a day, which would probably be June 15th, for Sharon and Barry and I to sit down and just hear what his thoughts are and whether they are synchronous with our needs and dreams and hopes. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Lydia. And on to the clerk.
The only thing that I have is we need to pass a resolution to basically we need to readopt the budget because one of the figures, the tax levy amount, was not completely accurate. There was some rounding issues. We're in the process of doing the tax payment, the tax bills, and we discovered that we hadn't rounded out to the right number of decimal places. So we need to, I can read the resolution and you can, it's not that, it's just a small amount. So here goes. Whereas the Village of Round Lake passed the 2022-2023 budget on April 20th, 2022, and whereas the tax rate was reduced to $4.25 per thousand of assessed value, and whereas the tax valuation of $107,931,428 and the new tax rate were multiplied to create the tax warrant of $458,555. And whereas the tax warrant figure was not calculated using the correct number of decimal points, therefore be resolved that the tax warrant should be recalculated using the proper rounding to arrive at $458,708.66. And be it further resolved that the 2022-2023 budget be updated to reflect this change to the raised by taxes field.
So resolved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? I won't use my phone as a calculator next time. I'll use it.
No. Thank you. We'll vote. Tom,
Yes.
Heidi,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, we are getting the water and sewer bills together. Yay. And those should be out by June 1st, along with the tax bills as well. So I'm
Question.
preoccupied with that. Yeah.
Kim, only to take care of my confusion on this issue.
Yeah.
The last time I looked at our website, we had the assessment rolls from 2019. So going into this tax year for us, which is June,
Yeah.
are we using the 2020 Malta roll assessment rolls, or are you using? We're not
No.
using the 2022, are we?
No, 2020.
No. I think we're using the 2020, right? For the taxes that are coming out right now, we're using 2020.
Okay.
We just all got reassessed
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
they used last summer's figures. That will be next year.
Yeah. Next year. Okay. Good.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I think that I think on the website I put the most recent final roll.
Okay,
I'll double check tomorrow. We also have that, the new one that we're all pissed off about, that I could put that one on there too.
yeah. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the last time I looked, which was a week or two ago, it was the
Yeah.
2019. And I was saying, oh geez, we're coming at the school district taxes reflected the 2020.
I'll go in there
So
tomorrow.
you know,
I'll update. Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify it. Thank you.
Okay. That's it for me.
All righty. Under old business, we have auditorium event manager. Sharon, you want to take it away?
Yes, we interviewed Heidi and I, and we talked to Tom Bergen and to Matt, who gave us their go-ahead to encourage interviewing Molly Stammel for the position of event coordinator. And we sat with Molly and we understood immediately how qualified she was to be on our team, to be helping us to be part of the auditorium team. And she will be managing parking, volunteer coordination, and all of the other responsibilities that were listed on the job description. And I think that we're going to be extremely pleased and extremely happy with how we go forward here.
And I just wanted to say that I was very impressed with Molly's qualifications as well, but I asked her to join the meeting this evening in case the other board members had questions, or the mayor of Molly.
I think we should move quickly before she changes her mind.
Agreed.
I'm very happy to hear that she's doing this. And obviously, whenever Sharon and Heidi come together and agree on this, I'm confident that's really going to work out. I don't know Molly personally, so I'd like to get a chance to meet her, and I'm sure we can work something out just to say hello and shake hands. But I think this is going to be great. You guys have done it. Heidi, Sharon, done a great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, so moving ahead to the resolution. Be it resolved that the Round Lake Board of Trustees authorizes the mayor to sign the contract with Molly Stammel for the 2022 auditorium season event manager position.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Tom,
Yes.
Heidi,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
No going back on Molly. Welcome aboard.
And next, the auditorium marketing and website manager contract. Be it resolved that the Round Lake Board of Trustees authorizes the mayor to sign the contract with David Straight for the 2022 auditorium season website design.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
Heidi, discussion? Paul?
All I.
Aye.
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 And under new business, chief, new fire truck.
Ooh.
Okay. First of all, I apologize for trying to rush everything. Normally, we take months of talking about this before we finally, get down to getting your permission and everything. We started last fall, kicking the idea around, but unfortunately, we didn't realize that the longer you wait, a lot more money it's going to cost us. There was already approximately $50,000 increase the first of the year. And now if we don't do anything this month in June, they've got it'll be about a $42,000 increase. So that's why kind of the last couple of months have been trying to rush everything through. I gave the information to Gary for him and Tom to look over. It's basically the same way we did it the last time versus putting the trucks out to bid. We piggyback off another department's bid. I think this one was Little Falls, that they had bought a similar truck. Suffin, who we're buying it from, was the lowest bidder. Tom looked it over a couple years ago when we did it, said everything looked good back then. Nothing's changed. They gave you all the information for him to look over to make sure that everything's legally, okay. The truck, we order it now. Sorry about that.
Probably a price increase.
It's up considerably from what we bought 3 years ago even. The truck will be delivered in September, roughly August, September of 24. It's roughly a little over a 2-year time frame now versus a year. So that's why we're trying to, move things along so that we can get in line in production and we don't have to pay more money. It's roughly $124,000. I've talked to Jess about when the other ones will be paid off. They'll be paid off before this comes in, and basically the payment on this would replace the payment that we're making currently. If everything goes okay over the next couple of years, I plan on putting half to 3/4 of the amount down, so the amount financed may be even less. If I get really lucky, I may be able to pay cash by the time this comes in, because once it comes in, you have another year before you have to pay. So we really don't start paying on it until September of 25. So depending on how things go over the next couple of years, ideally, it would be great to be able to pay cash. But I think I'll have enough to pay half to 3/4 down over the course of time.
Frank, Frank, this is Tom. Do you know whether there's a penalty for prepayment of the loan?
We can't prepay the current loan that we have. Jess checked in on it. We can't, it's set up so that there is no, we can't prepay the one we have out there now. When this one comes up to finance in 2024, we can check ahead of time to see if we can put it in there so that we could prepay that one when it does come up. This last one we had was a 5-year loan. We were going to try to pay it off, especially now because we're not making any interest in the money in the bank. So we were going to pay it off to save on the finance charges, but the bank told Jess no, that wasn't something we could do. During the build of this truck, we do have enough money in the capital reserve now to pay as we go. They'll send us a letter and say, hey, if you pay for this chassis within 7 days, we'll knock $25,000 off. So there's stuff like that that we can do as time goes on over the build of the truck over the 2-year period of time to hopefully save even some more money. My question, Jess, is if we do this, do we need a referendum every time we take the money out of the capital reserve? Or is it a one-time thing? Or how does that work?
If it's going to be different, if we're buying different parts at different times, if you don't know the amount ahead of time, we would have to take it out individually each time, and we would have to put it up for referendum. If you knew how much you needed, we could take it all out and then put it into
Yeah, that's
your
the problem.
line.
They only give you maybe 7 to 10 days.
Right,
So
that wouldn't
time,
work from
so-
the reserve.
Would we have to take out of our current budget and then replace it from the reserve money? Because the reserve, you have to have what, a 30-day notice and public.
I would take it out of the budget, and then it reduces the amount that goes into your reserve at the end of the year.
So
That's what I would
it's
do.
Possible we could do that then throughout the course of time.
Yeah.
And I'll just work with her to make sure, where the money stands, each year. As far as,
We would need if we were going to do that, we would need a written agreement. It doesn't have to be long or complicated, but
agreement for what?
that the money that we
them?
take out of the general fund would be, it would reduce the amount that would go into the capital reserve.
Right, so it would be just like paying a bill. They'll send me a bill for, say, $100,000. If Jess pays it, it'll be paid just like a regular bill.
Yeah, we just want a paper trail.
It'll be a paper trail. They always send an invoice. But again, they don't give you, a month or two. They'll give you maybe 7 days.
I'm talking about an agreement between the village and the fire department.
Right? She would just take it out of my regular budget money, right? That's what you're talking about, Jess, right? So. But over the course of time, we will have to take the money out of capital reserve. So I don't know, do you do that ahead of time? Do we have a public hearing and all that and say, over the course of 2 years, there's going to be money taken out of capital reserve? Or does it have to be done, Tom, every time there's money taken out of capital reserve?
I would think that we could take money out of the capital reserve to be used exclusively for buying extras, if you will, for the new vehicle, have that subject to the public referendum. And then you'd be able to spend that amount of money down, but that would at least
So-
reduce it to one public referendum.
That's something that could be done like this summer, and then anything that comes up over the build of the truck, we could just take it out of capital reserve. We don't have to go back and have another public hearing and referendum and everything.
Yeah, we could do that.
That's
Once the
correct.
contract is signed and approved, and we can put it up for referendum for the amount of it and take the money out once that period of time is done and put it into your budget, and then it's there when we need to pay
Yeah.
it.
Usually there's 2 or 3 things you can prepay over the course of a build of a truck that'll save money. So if we're allowed to do that, that would save us some money in the long run. Does anybody have any questions? Like I said, I apologize for the quick, but unfortunately nowadays, if things are getting ridiculous price wise, it's like everything we buy has gone up considerably, especially diesel.
Frank, what do we need to do to get the ball rolling?
Just give Gary permission to sign the contract. He's got all the paperwork in the contract. He has the information for the piggyback off the other bid, so that it doesn't have to go out to bid and all that stuff.
Is the contract included in that binder that you left?
It
on
should,
the-
everything's right in that binder.
In the binder, okay.
And how much extra do you want allocated so that you can do the prepays?
Right now, I don't believe they need any money up front.
No, but if you want to be able to spend money quickly for
That I don't know.
prepaid items, give
That I
us an
won't
amount.
know. Right, I won't know that until we get into it. So maybe next month we could talk about the referendum, that would be June. If we have the referendum public hearing in July and set an amount at that point, that over the course of time, we take money out as bills come in.
Well, there's no
Don't have to pay
sin.
anything. I mean,
There's no sin
ideally,
in
we don't have to pay a
overestimating.
thing. I do think the village has to, I think part of your contract, Gary, there's something there that basically says the village is gonna pay for the truck. That they're not gonna build a truck and then you're gonna say no at the end. So you may have to have the bank say, yes, we will give them the money when the time comes. But
Like
there's,
a bill of
like
sale
no down
possibly
payment or
too?
excuse me?
We just did that. We did a bill of sale for the big truck we're getting for, DPW. We had to do, it's a commitment letter, basically. And it
Basically, that's
says
it, yes.
We will be purchasing this item, and it locks in that rate at that time. And then we pay when it comes.
Right. Yeah, there's no money down on the truck. And realistically,
Right.
we don't have to pay anything until the truck is delivered. But
Okay.
like I said, they will send things, usually it's for the chassis, the transmission. A couple of the big items that if you do prepay, they'll give you some money off. So, because it saves them money, because they have to front the money too, so.
So Frank, if we put the paperwork together and the resolution or whatever we needed together for the beginning of June workshop, are we okay with the price at this
I
point?
don't know when their price effect is.
Okay,
I don't know if it's June 1st. It's June something. I don't know if it's June 1st or if it's the end of June. If you're willing to commit to it now, I'll just tell them the village says yes, but we won't have the signed contract until your next meeting. Because you did it by Zoom this time, you're not in person to sign it. I don't know if all the trustees have to sign it or if just Gary has to sign it.
Well, I think if the attorney will correct me, but I think if we authorize the mayor to sign it at a specific price that we know, or price says, I have no idea. This seems a little confusing to me, but I understand the idea that the price is not going down. We just went through this with one of the trucks for the DPW. So if there's a mechanism, and Tom will correct me, if there's a mechanism where we can approve this in some fashion prior to, let's say, the workshop session, then maybe we ought to do it.
I mean, this is basically the same way we've always done trucks and purchasing trucks. It's just this time it seems a little messed up because we're trying to like squeeze it in one meeting versus
Right.
for a couple of times. And I apologize for that. I just don't want to pay another $45,000 if we don't have to. So,
We need to identify the vehicle. We need to identify the price.
okay. I've got
And
the.
with that, the board can enact a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign that. And I would add in a form acceptable to the village attorney. And Frank, if you think it's necessary, we could say plus 20% for prepayments during the life of the construction of the vehicle.
Well, the price that we have is the maximum price we're gonna have to pay. We won't pay any more than this price.
So it's just a question of
Prices go
paying
up.
early.
If we pay early, then this price will end up being reduced.
Can you give us the identification of the truck?
Yes, it's a, well, at that time, it'll be a 2024 Suffin heavy duty. Gary, it's on your first page in your binder if you have that.
Nope.
Heavy duty custom pumper, complete and delivered for the sum of, and Kim, it's 823, 656, 95.
Okay.
So once we lock in the price, even if they have $100,000 price increase, and we're locked in with the price.
Did they really put 95 cents at the end of that?
They really got 95 cents at the end of that.
Can I ask a question? Why is it that they would deliver it and then we don't have to pay it for a while?
That's, I don't know. But that's the last couple of trucks that we bought as I've been chief since 2010. The bank pays the company, they write them a check when the truck comes in. And we only make one payment a year. So if the truck comes in August, the payment due on that truck is the next August. So the last trucks we got in October, so Jess pays them every October. She writes them a check for, it's roughly $129,000.
Okay, this is when it's financed. We're making a bond payment
This is when
rather
it's
than paying the
financed.
company.
So right now, everything from now until delivery, any money spent will come out of capital reserve. And then whatever's left over that we owe on the truck that we don't have in capital reserve, that's how much we'll finance come 2024. With any luck, it may only be $200,000. Could be a little more, could be less. Like I said, ideally, if I can save enough money to pay cash and save all the finance charges, then that would be my goal. I just don't know with things going on in the next couple of years and the price of everything, if I'm going to be able to save that much money. Right now, there's roughly $500,000 in capital reserve. So.
So we can just authorize the mayor to sign a contract based on that
If
vehicle.
you guys are okay with it, if you authorize the mayor, then he can sign it and we'll get locked in at that price. And then any of the other paperwork, like with the bank, and like I said, it'll tell you in that binder, Gary, what we need is, like Kim said, a commitment letter that we're not going to stiff them for $800,000.
95 cents.
And 95 cents, yes.
So a motion authorizing the mayor to expend up to 800 something.
$823,656.95 for that 2024 pump thingamajig that
Yeah, you have the exact wording on the front page of the binder.
Don't
as
move
it's
the
listed.
decimal, Harry.
Pardon?
Don't move the decimal point.
Yeah, right.
And are we
think-
adding to that in a form acceptable to the village attorney and also and authorizing the prepayment of certain items in order to obtain price reductions?
As they so arise. Yes, that was what I was getting to, Tom. Thank you.
And it is very possible in this day and age, they may not offer any prepayments. Who knows? That's the way it's always been, but now, I don't know. Can't tell you anything, unfortunately.
Second,
Discussion? Holt?
Who had made the motion? Was it you, Gary?
Hey. Well, Gary
was
started,
Matt?
finished it, so
Tom finished it?
I finished it.
Tom's second.
Tom second.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's poll. Tom,
yes.
Heidi,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Gary.
Yes. Should we do the fire department new volunteers now as well?
Yeah,
Sure.
Okay, be it resolved that the Round Lake Board of Trustees accepts new members Scott Skinner and Sophie Geraci to the fire department, subject to receiving all trustee signatures.
Second.
Discussion?
all I.
Aye.
Moving on to cottage zoning cluster development clarifying language.
Do you need me for anything else?
Is that Frank?
Do you
Who
need
said
me
that?
for anything the
No.
rest of the night? I'm gonna go up to the planning board meeting at the town if you don't need anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for everything.
Ask them for money. I'm sorry, Gary. I think this is, I kind of just asked the attorney for some clarification. I hope Tom can hear me. I have nothing else to go on, but the proposal for New York Avenue, so I don't mean to single it out. It's other than the fact that I don't have any other subdivision proposals. But we have in our language, in our zoning language, chapter 180, and I think Tom knows, Article 2, we describe zoning, cluster zoning, and we describe it as cottage zoning plan development district. And then we go on to describe what cluster zoning is. And then later on, in chapter 158, subdivision of lands, this is Article 8, cluster development 158.41. We say all major subdivisions will be clustered. So my question was, do we need to clarify, because we describe the cluster zoning under the definitions as cottage zoning PDD, do we need to clarify that in terms of non-PDD subdivisions?
Did you receive the draft provision I circulated, Tom?
Yes, I did, and it's fine.
So what are you asking, Tom? I'm a little confused.
I guess I was probably overthinking this and trying to become a lawyer, which thank God I never did. But I didn't want there to be confusion if a developer went to do something, let's say on the end of New York Avenue, which is the proposal is not a cluster proposal. Okay, it's a big, wide spread out thing. Would that developer be able to argue that there's a conflict between the requirement to cluster and our chapter 180, article 2 definition, which says cottage zoning PDD clustering. This would, this guy could say it's not a PDD, so I don't need to cluster. And I guess that's only, I'm just trying to get around the confusion, at least of what I see. Maybe there's no confusion, or maybe it's just the way I read it.
Does the proposed revision take care of the confusion?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. But I kind of wanted to just air it out here with whoever's paying attention. And I know this is kind of very nuanced stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that, if we had to make a change in the zoning, then we understand why we're doing it.
So this subdivision, the revisions that you were talking about, Tom Peterson, we already have this. You're changing a few words. It says in this that all major residential subdivisions shall be clustered. So that is what we already have.
That is what we already have, but this says a cluster cannot be more than 10 homes. And they face on a common area and the road runs to the rear of the buildings.
Yeah, I see that. Yep. Okay, so it defines cluster.
Yeah, I think it further defines it, and in a way that I think it makes it clear. The planning board is going to be wrestling with this. We're going to be, the road issue is coming to us as a village board, but then if and when, or maybe never, the road issue gets taken care of, then the rest of it goes back to the planning board, the actual layout of the plot, the 33 acres. So I just wanted to make sure it was clear what this person or these people would be subject to if they got that far. So I just that was my only concern.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of rewriting cluster development. It is very vague, and we say we recommend. We keep saying we recommend this or we recommend, and the developers already picked up on that, saying, well, you may recommend it, but I'm not going to do it. So I think we have to have stronger language in our what we require under cluster development. And so, I'm in the process of trying to put stronger language in there, and then I will share that with Tom.
Are you rewriting this chapter 158 that?
Yes, 158.
So should we not make these changes right now?
I think he already has his proposal in, so I don't think it can affect what he has in his proposal. But I think down the road, he may just back out of this. He's very vague on what he wants, and the planning board he is scratching its head saying, how many units are you building? He says 24, and I say, if it's 24, you need another road. Oh, you need to allow me, they're being very vague. And so I don't think at this particular point, they know they have no idea what they want. And I think the road is a big issue. And I think the road will take people's front lawns. And I think it requires him a lot of money on his part too, to widen the road, put a sidewalk in and survey the whole road. And we could be talking over $1 million. And I don't think he wants that expense. So I'm not sure what he's doing. And I don't think he knows what he's doing. So, and I'm not going to call him and ask him. So I'll just wait him out.
Yeah, but we also need to make sure everybody understands what cluster development means and what our intentions are.
Correct.
Right.
Peter, if you want to go further with the draft provisions, would you like to get together tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then we
I'll
can get
contact you tomorrow
we can get a
afternoon.
recommendation to the board, because this is a zoning change or in the nature of a zoning change, and therefore we need to get a copy over to the county planning board and also have a public hearing on it. And all that takes time. So whatever time we can eliminate would be great. So if we can do this tomorrow and get a draft to the board.
Okay. Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow, Tom.
And thank you both for being so involved in this. I think the clarity is really all that matters. I understand this guy's going to be working under the old rules. I mean,
Well,
there's,
I question that also, Tom, because the planning board never started the clock on his application. We looked at it, we were kind of looking at it saying, we don't understand it, explain it to us. And we're still in that process. I don't know legally, since we didn't start the clock, is that application
I think
official?
the law, the village law that will apply will be the law as it exists once he has submitted a complete application, which he has not done yet.
Okay, yeah.
good. Thank you both.
Okay, thank you. And Kim, correspondence? None? Zero? Okay, approval of the minutes from April 6th,
No, April
no.
20th.
April 4th?
20th? April 20th?
Oh, April 20th. That's
I'll make a motion to approve.
second.
Second.
Discussion?
All I.
Aye.
Aye.
And a motion to approve the abstract for the month of May, which includes April prepaid invoices and May claims in the total of $91,378.21.
Second.
Discussion?
All I.
Aye.
Aye.
Village attorney. Any comment? Any?
Kim does a good job of reminding me about the fact that we do not have a contract for fire protection services with the town of Ballston. She reminds me, I call or email my opposite number, I don't hear back. That's where we are now with that. I reached out again last week. I don't know what the problem is. I call and I never get the phone picked up, so.
I'll get in touch with the town supervisor tomorrow. I used to work with him, so.
If we can nudge a little bit, I mean, I don't think there are any outstanding issues. But we do need to have that piece of paper. I guess there is, the village is looking into possibly buying 21 acres at the corner of the bypass and Route 9, the southwest corner. And in order to get access, if we were to buy that and make that parkland, we would need a road over it. According to Jason at the county, that is a town path, not a county or a county path. The Zim Smith Trail, it is not part of the Zim Smith Trail. It's just a connector. And so Kristen Gottman, who I guess is the new director of Parks and Rec, is taking a look at that. I've told her that's not something that's in the immediate future, but we want to know how to make that request of the town should we need an easement to put an access road into that property. Oh, and lastly, we got approval from DEC for our proposed the language for the signs regarding personal watercraft.
And we changed the ticket to reflect that Bob could administer a ticket for.
Kim and I are far ahead of you.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the ticket, so.
Yeah,
It's good. Alrighty, that's it, Tom?
that is it.
Okay, and I have nothing. Trustees?
Nothing for me.
Nope.
No.
Alrighty. And public comment. Scott, how are you doing? Unmute. Scott,
What?
Okay, you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. Don't want to end the meeting on a negative note, so let's make the negative statement I'm gonna make positive at the end. Yesterday, last night, when I went to go open the doors for the auditorium, for the volunteer meeting that we had, first of all, the building was open. The doors were wide open. There was a window wide open. Don't know if somebody went over there and opened it before I got there, but I don't think they did. I don't know if somebody was there. I think somebody was there over the weekend. Not sure. Whoever was in the building last left a bag of garbage on the floor, which was torn open and dragged around the auditorium by a squirrel. I don't know how many times it's been brought up that we cannot leave garbage outside of some kind of a container that can keep the squirrels from entering it. We've suggested at least twice, maybe more, to, I think the smart thing to do would just to have a regular garbage pickup, so we can get 2 large containers from Twin Bridges or County Waste, whatever one you pick, and have somebody, anytime there's a garbage that's being taken out of the small trash cans in the auditorium, put into a regular garbage can that cannot be broken into by a squirrel, eaten through by either Twin Bridges, and then just have a regular pickup. So I don't know how you guys are going to have to go about doing that. If you can do that, just make, I don't know if we can have a regular garbage pickup for the auditorium and have somebody just take it out on a Sunday night or whenever this garbage goes out. But I think that would be a good idea, because obviously none of this stuff is being taken care of. And this happens every year. And we're going to be paying $8,000 to clean a building that's going to be messed up by squirrels, which the reason why we're getting a lot of squirrels is because they know where to get the garbage. If we can stop leaving garbage out for them to eat, maybe we can stop them from coming into the building.
Scott, what normally happens to the garbage after? Like, where is it normally go? Does somebody take it home, or how does it work?
No, we had two trash cans or more in the back with lids, strong plastic trash cans.
Where does that go?
That goes in the back room, back by when you walk into the back doors through the back entrance.
And then where does it go?
And then the village either takes it to the curb or somebody takes it to the curb. When we ran events, it was the responsibility for the people who ran the event to bring the garbage out to the curb and have the village pick it up inside of those heavy plastic receptacles. And I think it would be a lot easier to not put to obviously the village can't be there over the weekends if there's an event running on the weekend, and they can't be there on a whim when we say, hey, when Kim says, I'll get the guys to come pick it up, and they don't come pick it up. So I think the answer would be to pay County Waste or pay Twin Bridges to keep the receptacle in the back room by the door. Anybody who's pulling garbage out of the cans that's in a bag that can be ripped through, put it in the large, just like we take our own trash out. And at the end of the week, pull it to the curb and have the garbage company pick it up. It takes up the responsibility of anybody having to worry about getting it out of the building. It's a big problem, and we, this it needs to be solved, and it's an easy solution. I mean, if it's, if we can pay the $20 a month or whatever it is to have a pickup. I don't think, I don't think that's a very difficult thing to do, and I think it would solve the problem. So I know that there's been new trash cans purchased. I'm told that they're the trash cans that are the kind that you can push the tops in. Not really sure. I know that I was talking to Sharon about it, but the squirrels will easily be able to get inside those. So we can't leave the garbage inside of those receptacles. We have to have them. It has to be contained in some kind of a garbage can that can't be broken into.
The ones that we just got will not be broken into. It's a side thing, and it's a door that opens to eliminate the trash. But when we eliminate the trash, we should be putting it in those big Ace plastic bins with a top on it, like you and I did yesterday to eliminate that, and move those somewhere to be disposed of.
That's what we did last year. Those are the trash cans we bought for last year. We kept them in the back, but then you have the problem of who's bringing it to the curb. We can't count on the village crew to have to come by and pick up the garbage, obviously, because we tried this over and over and over again. And you know what? You can't put that on them. Because once again, you got garbage sitting in there over the weekend that has to be put into a garbage can, or it has to be pulled out last year, what we did was we made sure that we would call Kim and we'd say, I think we picked out a day to pull it to the curb.
Oh.
And the village crew would pick it up and bring it down to the, and to be dumped and in their own, dumpster down to the DPW. That's how it was done.
It was, you know what it was, Scott? It was, when the kids are there for camp, the guys remember every day to go over there and pick it up, because we get rid of it every day because there's a lot of food in there. And I think I think what's happened now, we're just getting into the season, and we had one thing on one night and we didn't even think about it. So maybe if we can institute this and then bring it out that once a week, because it could sit in the big county waste can in the back under the stage. And then maybe on Sunday night, have someone bring it out on a regular basis. If we just had that in place.
That was, that's the suggestion.
Then we don't have to bug the guys. Oh, it's a Tuesday. You got to go Wednesday morning and get the garbage, because, I agree. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, Twin Bridges does a pickup on Monday. I think that would be a perfect setup if you.
Yeah, I do too, because most of the garbage is the weekend. So, yeah. We'll get it. We have to get into a rhythm with that as well. Now that we're, now that we're in there. So.
Yeah. All right. I
What's
mean,
the positive part?
what's
Yeah,
this?
what's the positive part, Scott?
Right.
If we get this garbage can, we won't have squirrels going through the garbage. Wouldn't that be great? And we won't have a squirrel. We won't have a squirrel running up on the stage during the middle of the opera. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Like
That's
today, right?
concerning.
Like today. Was it last night it did that?
Last night they did it. Yeah. So it was a good. So
And there is a huge space in the back of the auditorium, at least like a foot, well, probably 8 inches easily, where there was kind of screening, and the screening is pushed in and anything can be in there.
Right. Yeah, but more than likely they're going to be looking for food in there, and that's.
Yeah, we don't want that. I agree.
No. So I mean, this is another one of the things that I don't. Who was in over the week? Was it a weekend event? Who left the garbage there? Was it Carpe Diem or was it?
It was a Carpe Diem audition, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. And they did what they were told to do.
But there was,
as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know.
And also there was a lot of stuff left there afterwards that was just forgotten. It was like water bottles and jackets and garbage. And I think that they did what they had to do that they thought, but I don't think that they knew to say, also, there's going to be squirrels in here.
Okay, I thought all of that stuff was supposed to be put into the contract when they signed a contract to use this place. And it is in the contract. It was put in the contract that these guys are supposed to be responsible. And here's my point for that. There's a lot of residents in this village that don't want people coming in from the outside. And that's one of the biggest reasons is when we hold an event as residents of this village in that building, we take care of our building because we really do love the building. We want to make sure, you know, we take care of it and we're doing the best things we can do for the building. When we have people come in from the outside, they really don't care. They're renting our building. They're not thinking about, you know, what it means to, you know, to the residents. And, you know, I just think that if these things keep happening, it's just going to be proven, it's going to prove the point. You know,
Well,
I'm not
quite
a
honestly,
believer
Scott,
in
I
that.
would disagree with you. I really think that if we build an infrastructure and we have policies and we have procedures, we can go forward in a good manner.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
And that's what I'm working on.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. So we have contracts that are being signed that need to be followed and that needs to be added to, which I think I'm pretty sure that you did. But once again, we're not starting off on a good foot. If it's already started out, we're leaving garbage in the auditorium, which I hope I'm sure we'll figure it out. Like I'm saying, it's going to end up in this is the positive part. Let's get something done about it and get the garbage out of there in the right way. And like I said,
I think that they are very receptive to making it work, to making it clean, and they are contributing to that. So let's just give them specific directions. And I think that your idea is very good about having a trash bin that can then go out and be picked up.
good. I like that idea too. And congratulations to Molly for taking the on the job. And as you guys both know, I'll be there to assist you in any way you need, if you need it. So I'm looking forward to a great season.
Great, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Any more public comment? There being none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I am 5.
All right, thank you all.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.